Okay, last review before the test. On May 13th, Wednesday at 2 p.m., that's when it starts. You're going to have 45 minutes to write an essay, take notes and write the essay on prose fiction analysis. It's open book and open notes, which is good, but it also means, I think, that the test is going to be difficult. Prior to the test, Monday, make sure that you go to the link that's provided in the right here, My App College Board, and make sure that you are registered. You're going to receive it. You should receive an email on Monday with a code for you to take the test. It's suggested that you log on 30 minutes prior to the test and make sure that you have all your notes and everything you need right next to you. And you should have all your sheets, your note sheets ready. I'm going to cover that in this video. So if we have 45 minutes, that's X amount of time to read and take notes and organize, X amount of time to write your essay, and give yourself 5 minutes to upload your essay. It's important. Be prepared. So let's take a look at another review, last one, of how your essay should be organized. In your introductory paragraph, make sure you have a good hook. Make sure you answer the question that's in the prompt by using the ideas. Don't merely just rewrite the words that are in the prompt. You should introduce the ideas that you're going to present. You preview your evidence. Don't go off topic. Don't start writing about anything that doesn't have to do with the question. Don't ignore the prompt. As I had shown you, that you go into the prompt, you look at the main ideas that the question is asking. Use either who, what, where, when, why, and how, or the interpretive sentence chart to create your thesis statement. Don't merely restate the words in the question. Once you have your thesis, you do a hook, you repeat the main idea, so a good 3-sentence introductory paragraph. The body paragraphs. You should try to have at least 3. But you got to watch your time. You have to have clear transitions. I gave you the transition sheet. You should have those written out. You have to have a clear topic sentence that relates to your and supports your thesis. This is where the who, what, where, when, why, and how comes in. You have to have the evidence, which is a quote or a paraphrase, and it must specifically be an example of what your topic sentence is referring to. The commentary is the how and why your evidence proves your topic and thesis. That's why when you make your topic sentence and you do the who, what, where, when, why, and how, the answers to the how and why question are your commentary. Don't just merely summarize the plot. Don't write 1-sentence commentary. That's just not going to work for this test. And don't let the quotations outweigh the commentary. You should have more commentary than that should be the majority of your paragraph. Don't ramble and go off topic. And the way to do this is to use the techniques that I showed you. And by answering questions and then writing sentences with those answers, you'll remain on topic. In your conclusion, sum up your evidence. Depending on the time now, what we were doing was writing 2 sentences per body paragraph explaining how you answered the question. But you have to be careful. Watch your time. Watch the time. If this is what you see next to you when you start to write this essay, nothing. It's going to be really, really hard. You're going to have about 10 minutes to read the text, organize your thoughts, about 35 minutes to write the essay, and if you're not prepared, you will do poorly. So what will you have in front of you to take the test? So what are note sheets? Kind of just notes. This is what you need to have in front of you. Open book, open note. So all the literary definitions that we covered, you should have the definitions and the functions written down right next to you. That should be done before Wednesday. You should have graphic organizers ready to go so that you don't have to spend time making them. They're already there. You should have your sentence templates for the literary devices and functions. You should have the sentence templates for the literary devices and functions. You should have the sentence templates for the literary devices and functions. And lastly, you should have the sentence templates for the literary devices and functions. If you have those already created right next to you, all they needed to do is just massage it a little bit and incorporate it into your essay, and it'll make for good writing. Sentence templates. Now here's some sample questions from past prose fiction AP tests. Notice that I have in red and underlined the main ideas. The first one, literary devices. Dramatize the character's experience. So I can write about any literary devices when it talks about the characterization of this character's experience. If I already have my definitions and functions and my sentence templates is next to me, as I'm reading, I can say, oh, this is imagery, oh, this is a simile, oh, this, and I can organize them right there as I'm writing. I don't have to waste time. On the next one, we got at the end, a complex character, literary techniques of tone, point of view, and language. If I already have that written down, I don't have to waste time. If I already have sentences, templates that are already created, it makes it easy for me to just plug and play. So here we got the relationship to the urban setting through the use of literary devices of imagery, personification, selection of detail, and figurative language. Sometimes they may have a more complex idea or a literary device that I'm not familiar with. Well, if I have the definition and the function and my sentence templates on how to write those ideas, I'm already done. I'm ready to go. Again, literary techniques describe Swally and to characterize the people who live there. Lastly, literary devices is speech and point of view to characterize Aaron's experience. What do you have next to you, ready to go right now? Are you ready right now? Another idea, whether you're going to use the interpretive sentence chart or who, what, where, when, why, and how. What you want to have already done are multiple sheets of paper with these techniques created. It's like already there, so you don't have to rewrite it. Think of the elements of plot, the setting, the characters, conflict, climax, and resolution. These are the things that they may ask about. Do you have the definition and function of each one of these? We're dealing with fiction or a play, so it's going to follow the plot, setting, characters, conflict, climax, and resolution. If the question mentions character, write about characterization. When in doubt, write about tone and mood. So have papers that are already designed with these ideas ready to go so that you don't have to waste time and create them on the fly. Now, a lot of the questions ask about characterization because it's a novel or a play. Here's the definition and function of characterization. I have it already written down. That means I don't have to look it up. I don't have to remember it. It's already right there. Do you have that? This is the diagram that I had in a previous lesson on characterization. Is this diagram in your notes? Because you can use it to make sentences about characterization. This should be in your notes. Let's take a look and see how to do that. All right, now here's an example. So I have my chart. I have my text details of the character showing a change. And then there's the traits of the character before and after, the outcome of the change, and how it affects the work as a whole. So what I can do is I have a sentence template that I can just plug and play. In the above quote, the author introduces a major change in the character of the protagonist through the dialogue, the reader is able to make an inference that his attitude changed towards blank. This change from blank to blank shows what? The outcome of the change affects his relationship. What? The main is further developed, should be the main idea is further developed through this change in that how does it affect the work as a whole? So I can use this chart to make sentences. I just go from one idea to the next. Let's look at another example. All right, this is another example, and it depends upon the question that's asked. But if they're talking about characterization, look how I can make my sentences. The perspective, I make an inference of the character in a relationship to another character where I compare and contrast and it affects the work as a whole. And it easily puts sentences together. One of the main themes of the text is revealed in the relationship between character A and character B. The contrasting perspectives of the character show what? That's my inference. Through the comments of the narrator. The dichotomy of the perspectives of each character reveal what about each of them and affect the work by what? So I can use this chart if I have it written down next to me and they talk about characterization, I can just run through the ideas and easily make sentences. You should have this chart. So you need to have this chart written down. You need to practice with it, making sentences, because they're going to talk about one character and his relation to the setting, the conflict, how they relate to another character, compare and contrast, and you can use this to make those sentences. Do it. Make as many sentence templates as you can. Plug and play. You're going to save yourself a lot of time and make it a lot easier. Now this is a chart that we had gone over before. It's how the plot of a story goes. In the exposition, the setting, character, and conflict are introduced. Then we have events in the rising action that create suspense and interest to the point we get to the climax, where the conflict or the crisis reaches its peak. Then the falling action or the events that lead to the resolution. The denouement is the resolution of the conflict. So why did the author place the techniques at this point of the story, and how did it affect the work as a whole? We had already looked at this as the total of a story. Well, what we have to remember is you're only going to get 500 to 700 words of a story, a play. But it's still going to have in relation these particular ideas: setting, character, conflict. So do you have the definitions and functions of these ideas written down, the elements of plot, right next to you, ready to go? Do you have sentence templates for each one so that it's easy to make the sentences? They're already done. They go along with the function and the definition. Do you have sentences that show the relationship between the elements, the relationship between the character and the setting? Or are you just looking at a blank sheet of paper and hoping for the best? So here's an example of why I put together. The setting of the story related in the provided text paints a bleak picture in which the story takes place. So we have the setting, the words that are used, the tone, the diction creates a mood. The place and time affect the character by, how does it affect the character? This is revealed through the comment of the narrator through his use of the words and what words he uses. The tone, the blank tone of these words creates a blank mood for the reader. The effect of on the protagonist is revealed through his dialogue. This can be inferred by, so from the plot, I already have sentences that are generic enough that I can massage and put within my essay, but I already have them there. Do you? Make sure that you do. Did you make sentence templates for the most common literary devices? For instance, the figurative language presented in the quote represents what? In a way that appeals to the sense of what? Generates a vibrant and graphic presentation of what? That appeals to the senses of what? Aids the imagination to a vision what? Clearly. The figurative language, I quote, serves the function of beautifying whatever by appealing to the familiar sense of what? Sentence templates. Things that I may be able to use within my essay that are already there. I don't have to think up of anything. It's just plug and play and just change a little bit where I need to do it. Do you have these? Now, we've gone over this before, but here's a list of common literary terms that you may encounter, or I mean, if they just talk about literary devices, you have to identify what literary devices the author's using. You have to have the definitions and function of those literary devices and sentence templates that you can just use. If you don't have them, here's a list. Stop the video, copy them down, and get to work. Do the work, plan, write the sentence templates. Go back and review the videos that I've already created on these specific ideas. Do the work. You'll be glad you did. Blank sheet of paper. That means I got to come up with all my ideas on my own right now. I'm wasting time. I don't know what the definitions are. I kind of know, but I don't have any. I mean, it's not really good. Time's ticking. It's already been 15 minutes and I'm still trying to figure out what to write. Time's ticking. Oh my goodness, I only have 5 minutes left and I have to upload something that I haven't even written yet. Don't let that be you. Ben Franklin. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. We have one last essay. Yay! And it's on Wednesday, 5/13/2020. Now, if you've made it all the way through this essay, what I want you to do is leave a comment about your plans and what you intend to do. It will count as an A. Those of you who didn't get this far in the essay, oops, let's get it done. Did a lot of work this year. Don't let it go to waste. Bye.